Hello and welcome to IT Chronicles 10 in Tech. We're here at Freshworks Refresh 19 in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm here with my cohort, Kathleen Wilson.
Hello.
And our guest today is Jon Reed from Diginomica. And I believe you're the founder of Diginomica.
Co-founder, yes.
Co-founder.
I co-founded it with four grumpy, smart British bloggers. And
that sounds like an interesting story, but maybe for more of a bar setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could talk more about that, but my cohorts are very cool.
So tell us, so we're here at Refresh 19. Tell us a little bit about your coverage area.
Yeah.
And what are you seeing in that space, and what should we be on the lookout for?
So one interesting thing about our coverage area is we're primarily focused on the large enterprise and issues of transformation in the large enterprise segment. So that gives us an interesting angle on Freshworks, which is obviously trying to move up market as part of their plan. So that gives us kind of a bit of a critical angle we can take.
Yep.
But what we're really trying to do at Diginomica that I think hopefully is a little bit different. Well, first of all, I hope our reading experience is pretty good because we don't allow pop-up videos and all that crazy crap that you see on a lot of media sites. Yep. We want readers to really love our site from an experience standpoint, but the big thing is it's all, these conferences that we're at, like this one, it's all about customers learning from customers. Yep. Like, the keynotes are great, don't get me wrong, yep. but it's really those sessions and that networking. That's how projects change for the better. And so what we're trying to do is less about hyping up new technology in the enterprise and more about looking at outcomes from a customer perspective. So at these shows, I'm doing my best to sit down with as many customers as possible and go through kind of a use case methodology with them and really get a sense of what it is, because change is hard. Yeah. And so we're trying to look at why customers want to change and not just...
That's an interesting question. I didn't think they wanted to change.
But the surprising thing is they do, just a little more on their own terms.
Okay.
Well, maybe not surprising, but like it's interesting to see that because obviously vendors have their own agenda around. Sure. They love change because change means new software.
Yeah.
But customers,
more licenses.
But customers embrace change also, but they have a different process behind it. So we try to look at that. Right.
So you said customer experience. Definitely not an area that you're passionate about, Kathleen.
No.
Oh, you have no interest in that?
I have no interest at all.
She doesn't care about customers.
Well, I've been making a bit of a grouch of myself by saying we have to start over on customer experience. So if you want to talk about that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
well, I think we should bring that up because I think a lot of people, I've always worked with software products and I've worked with product groups and it's always about the features, but it's really about focusing on the customer outcomes. It doesn't matter what the software does because if it doesn't get to the customer outcome, why are we doing it, right? And I think a lot of times we're too busy in the tech industry pushing tech for tech's sake, not taking it and stepping back and looking at it through the customer lens.
It's we know better, just take the software.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is they do want to change, they do want to adopt technology, but it's the human element of it, and a lot of times we don't answer the question why you need to do this.
I think that's absolutely true. And one reason why this conversation is really percolating hot here is because Freshworks has obviously shifted. Originally they were called Freshdesk, and they were focused on service and support really. And now they've really expanded their product line and they're making a real argument for why customer experience matters because now they have a whole collection of products. And the whole idea behind it does make a lot of sense when you think about it, when you don't want your sales, your marketing, your support, perhaps your finance data, you don't want all of that in silos because then this whole notion of any kind of, forget about a personalized experience, right? I always say that customer experience is only as strong as its weakest link, and when something breaks, then that's not good. Sure. But the other thing, and just to get you going on why I think we need to start over with customer experiences, my view, and increasingly it's not my own anymore, which is great, is that every stakeholder group is a customer. Right? Employees are customers. You look at all these retail situations where the employees are so miserable, how can they possibly
provide a good experience?
With a great, download our great mobile app, but our employees hate their jobs. How's that going to work out from a customer experience standpoint, right? So, and the same thing with suppliers and pretty much any stakeholder group you can imagine. Right. Journalists, media, everyone's a customer. And until you start there, your customer experience strategy is going to fail. I don't care how good your technology is.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, even growing up in my career, realizing I was in IT operations, IT support, but everybody was my customer, including my peers, right? So when people come up and ask you something, you want to help them. If you
Right.
look at everybody, I hate the word end user. I really wish people would stop using it. It's got such negative connotations. If you just said customer.
Right.
If you, like, consumer, it's customer.
We've had this conversation a few times.
Well,
If you have
right.
this-
I prefer the word customer.
Well, because users stem from like drug distribution and stuff, so.
Yeah, but it's
you know.
usually it's
Yeah.
connotating some bad behavior or
is.
some addictive type
Right.
of behavior, and it's like if you just shift the conversation to their customers.
Agreed.
Like I managed service desk, and they were like stupid customers. And I'm like, we love them stupid, because if they were all smart, you'd be out of a job, right? So it's again, shifting the perception as businesses are in business because they have customers.
Absolutely. And the interesting thing now, with so much transition towards either subscription-based revenues or loyalty programs of various kinds, like you start to realize, wow, like our support people are on the front lines for retaining these customers and getting these renewals. And so it dramatically changes what you're looking for out of a support person as well, which is why these changes are I think, fairly profound. And of course, what companies are ideally trying to do is to use things like AI and automation to take some of the more mundane, repetitive stuff out of those jobs, and then hopefully elevate people into more sort of what you might call high value roles where they can really make a difference in the lives of their customers. Now, I think in many ways that's more idealistic than what's actually happening, but I think it's the right approach.
Yeah. I think that's the key. It's moving to, and we've had this discussion a few times about, getting those easily repeatable type things. Take that away from people that, they're bored with it. It's mundane kind of tasks that are easily automated. And allow them to, like say, do higher level work, do the analysis, do actually the thinking part that we can't automate. Let them, free up that 10, 20% of their day to look at those more difficult situations. Say, okay, someone just contacted us with an issue.
Yeah.
This isn't just easily like, oh, send it off to another desk. Let this person reach out, like, okay, explain to me what's really happening. Right now, they don't have that time.
They can bring the human empathy element when people are in a situation. Because I think now consumers or customers know that you can do a lot of things online, like password resets, do a lot of things, and they're comfortable with that. But when you have an issue,
that doesn't fit all the boxes, like what
yeah,
it's like.
you can get, maybe the bot can help you get there, but please don't.
Right. Allow me to escalate when I need to.
Yeah.
And what Freshworks is trying to do, they're using a word that can drive me a little nuts sometimes, but I understand the word. The word is context, and the idea is that even if you have a very well-trained, very sophisticated customer-facing rep of some kind, they still need information in order to relate well to that customer, right? Because they may not know that yesterday that customer filed a service ticket that they're unhappy about. And what Freshworks is trying to do is, and they're not the only vendor trying to do this, but they're trying to provide that real-time view where I can look and see from these various places all the different interactions. Because if I'm missing some of those, then it doesn't matter how well-intentioned I am. I'm going to struggle in that call. The really interesting thing for me is, how do you empower employees to do that, like on the shop floor and stuff? Because you have consumers coming into stores and they know more about what's going on than a lot of the employees do. But the employees have smartphones too, and so I think the smart vendors are starting to think about how do we give employees the kind of stuff that can kind of prompt them and say, hey, you might want to mention this, or here's some resources for someone who's having this problem, so that they're ready too, so they're not on an unfair ground anymore with the consumer that comes in with all this knowledge and research, and the employee's like, what the heck's going on?
Exactly.
And why haven't you given me the tools to do my job better?
Yeah, especially in those cases where I guess that there is still the brick and mortar, and they come in and say, I've already, I talked to your customer service people yesterday.
Yeah.
At that point, that employee is still out in the dark, like, I don't know what you discussed. So now as a customer, I have to repeat everything that's already transpired over the last 4 days, just getting me more aggravated, and now you're the target of my aggression. And it's like, you're just trying to, like I'm working part-time, like, give me the tools. So you're right, they don't have the tools capable to address my needs as that customer.
Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting challenges. The other thing I push back on a lot is, there's a lot of talk in this industry around delighting customers, and look, I mean, I understand this whole thing around, like, you can have a wow moment, but I'm staying at a hotel, I'm not going to name their name, but I'm staying at a hotel here, and they wowed me a while back by upgrading me to this ridiculous suite. It was nice. It was a little overkill for like
you.
for like me in Vegas. Like,
I'm in, I'm out. It's like I'm not gonna. Yeah.
But the thing is, they're so sloppy consistently on like almost every time I stay. There's stuff wrong with my room that I have to like take the time to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, so that joyful moment of delight is overwhelmed by these small indignities of just carelessness, and then they've never really personalized anything to me. They've either before, during, or after my stay, even though I have all this data on me, they never use it.
Yeah.
And so we talk a lot about delight, but we need to look more at consistency of experience and also the data and how do you apply the data you have in people in a way that works for them. Like that, where I'm choosing to share this data with you, are you going to respect it and then use it to make my experience better? And if so, I'm not only going to trust you, I'm going to spend more money with you.
Exactly.
And that's the exciting thing
It
when
is.
companies can figure that out.
Right.
I'm still waiting for some of these hotel chains to figure it out though.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to meet somebody who's just as crazy as I am about these things. It's just like, we have all this data. Why aren't we using it? Why aren't we,
Right.
Constantly doing it? So putting the
Being
customer.
proactive. You have it. Be proactive with it. Do something right.
That's
Yeah,
it.
But having
We won't
said,
hold our breath.
having said that, some steps are being made, and that's a whole other conversation. But people are making progress. Just a long journey. So
It is.
thanks.
It's
Thank you.
great. Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.